Hey, come on in video.
That thing?
Yes. Oh, look. So Scott
What?
Franz had predicted we would see one of these today.
Is that the...
And there you are, Scott.
Started
This
with an
is
U?
an umbellula. It's one of my
Okay.
favorite names.
So what is an umbellula?
So it's a type of sea pen or pennatulid.
Is this the first sea pen we've seen on this dive?
On this dive, yes. But we have seen umbellula before on this expedition.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, they're beautiful, and they sort of range from light pink to deep red and purple. And these are a type of hexacoral, basically. I might regret saying that.
Any more?
That's full.
Yeah.
No, they're not hexacorals, they're octocorals. I do regret saying that. Of course.
It's not a Brazingid.
Yes, Scott's just written in caps. No, you must have... Basically, you should regret that. It is an octocoral. Yeah.
Looking down
But they're incredible.
Yeah, when you're ready, video.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, pilots. But yeah, well done, Scott, for guessing we'd see one of those.
All right, forward.
And unlike corals, they don't attach to a substrate. They bury their peduncle in the sediment and fasten in that way.
So why did Scott think that we would see one on this dive, just from the sedimented substrate that we're going over?
Yeah, I'm guessing this is sort of an abyssal plain area, very heavily sedimented. The perfect places to see umbellula.
Umbellula.
Is there much current down here?
Yeah, it's a little bit pushing me around. Not much, though.
Which direction? Can you tell?
It's on my back port quarter. Let's do a quick zoom here, video.
Hey, Scott, is that you? Oh, so okay.
That is me. Hi.
And while you're on, you
Welcome,
can apart from talking about the sea pen, you can talk about this lovely zoanthid covered sponge stalk we're seeing with the benthic ctenophore at the top.
So yeah, so it looks like let's see, a sponge stalk. I think I see a ctenophore, a benthic ctenophore at the top. So this is kind of cool because we saw that other pelagic ctenophore before. This is a beautiful purple one, and then there's a series of zoanthids, which are also cnidarians related to the octocorals and hexacorals and so on that we've been seeing in the sea anemones. Actually, these aren't connected. Maybe they're not zoanthids.
No, that's what I was just thinking, Scott.
A bunch of separate anemones.
These look like a group of anemones, basically, because, yes, you're very right. They are not connected to each other.
Yeah, I agree with you, Diva.
But the detail we're seeing on this...
There's a beautiful, beautiful image of the ctenophore.
Exactly what I was just going to say.
Those long, trailing tentacles that it uses to fish with. And you see from the main tentacle, you can see all those little side branches called tenilla.
So you want to know where the
and
current
each
was
of those
coming from?
have small structures
Flagpole right here.
Perfect.
with cells called colloblasts embedded in them. And the coloblast is basically a little packet of glue.
Yeah.
And so when zooplankton run into
Just
that,
kind of port to starboard
they can get stuck to the tentacle,
along
and then
our
the
current
tentacle
bearing.
can be retracted back, kind of pulled in, just like a fishing rod. And the mouth of this thing is actually on the underside against the stalk. So I'm not sure how it transfers it to the mouth.
And do you want to say anything about the sea pen, Scott, while you're on the line? I know it was a little while ago, but we always appreciate hearing more.
So the sea pen. So sea pens are a type of octocoral. As you said, they're specialized for living in the soft sediment. So we've been seeing a lot of octocorals that are attached to rock, and at the bottom there's a structure we call the holdfast. It looks like a little
Are you
disc,
touched down right
and
now?
it's
Or you
basically
just
glued
on the
to that
bottom?
rock to hold it in place. And there are some corals where instead of gluing that hard holdfast they grow roots like that sponge that we saw had those roots coming off the stalk, and those roots the calcium carbonate, they go deep into the sediment to stabilize. But a sea pen instead is able to inflate its tissue around its skeleton so that it creates this enlarged ball, which serves as an anchor in the soft sediment. So when I made the prediction earlier, I really wasn't, going too far out on a limb, because I saw we had a lot of this sediment and we're quite deep, and the Umbellula sea pens are especially known for very deep water, and this is the right habitat. So I just kind of threw that prediction out, knowing I'd look really good if we saw it, and knowing everybody would forget it if we didn't.
All right, full wide.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Scott. That was really, really fascinating and very informative. Lots of things that both of us on the ship never knew.
Thanks, Stephen.
Quick zoom.
Yeah. Nav, this is Watch Lead.
Hey, Watch Lead, how can I help you?
How far until we are at the
would
end
agree.
of our northward move?
So we're looking at about 60 meters. So,
Yeah, come out a little bit.
yeah, it shouldn't take us too much longer. We're just kind of swinging along.
It's a big.
Okay.
The ship's been stopped for a while.
Okay, so the
But-
ship is stopped now,
Yeah,
and
come
we're
on in.
just still moving?
Yeah, we've been swinging. We still have a lot more swing left.
Okay, what is that? Do we have that's what I think too.
That looks like a bullet shell?
A
Yeah.
what?
No?
Yep.
Are we
what
that
it looks
zoomed in?
like.
Oh yeah, because look at the balls. Wow.
Not that I know anything about guns.
Good job. I'll go back to talking to Nav. Do we have time to stop and collect where we are now, or are we still moving pretty fast?
I don't wonder where that came from.
No, it's slow enough
What's the
that
story behind that one?
we can, if it's a quick collection, we
That
can
looks
collect.
really old.
But yeah, look at
but
some
it
of the
just
more
has
of
to be
those ball
quick.
things.
So if you can maybe decide ahead of time.
We never can. You know that, right?
I know.
Like, thanks for that helping tip. But okay, I just wanted to
Maybe
be
one
able
of
to
those
relay
aircraft
that
mounted
to the
machine guns.
scientists.
It is.
It's a big.
If it
Yeah.
can be a
Big
relatively quick
Coming
collection,
out.
we
Okay.
can do it. But
I'm gonna come
it has to be
around
quick.
the
Great.
front of it real quick.
So quick question, do we think that's green because
Full
it's copper?
Not a bad guess.
I mean,
Or
yes, that's
brass.
probably copper or brass.
How big was that? It was a shell, right?
It's about 10 centimeters, huh?
Yeah.
That seems like a big shell.
Yeah.
Chip audio is really breaking up, but I think Eva was asking whether that was a copper or whatever, and I think so.
Yeah, come on in.
Thank you, Patty. Sorry to hear that our audio is breaking up. We know that our audio and video
Gonna be more?
engineer is working
Yep.
on it right now.
Yep.
I wonder what the story is behind this. How old might this be? It's just fascinating. Whenever you see trash on the deep sea floor, obviously it's very sad, but you're also like, how long has this been here?
This.
Well, the spam can that we saw on the dive was from 2001.
How do you know that?
One of my friends zoomed in on the bottom of the picture, and maybe
Wow,
they
it
looked
was
at the
in
code.
really good condition. And then,
Yeah.
Josh, what were you just going to say?
I mean, this is a big caliber, whatever it is. So I mean, to speculate, it'd be pretty old.
We do have
Pretty
two.
old being like
mean,
World
yeah,
War.
Josh.
Maybe I don't know.
He's not going to go there.
I'm just.
we
I'm
do
just
have
trying to,
we do have two marine
come on out.
archaeologists on board, I believe.
Yeah, they would probably have a better guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Good try though,
All right,
Josh.
looking
Come on
down
out.
at you, Josh.
I mean, I don't want to say from World War II, but
But
Full
he's saying it.
I'm saying
Yeah.
from World War II.
Good
So
job.
Chris thinks it's an aircraft shell. What does that mean?
I don't
Yeah.
know. Why are you
Yeah.
looking at me?
What's an aircraft shell?
From like a machine gun on an aircraft.
Oh. Okay.
Cool.
So for those of you following along, you can tell Diva and I are really not terribly cognizant of our
Like, what are the
military
odds of
history.
Seeing a 10 centimeter long shell in the
Yeah.
middle of the bottom of the
It's
ocean.
not from a fishing boat.
No. Well,
Maybe.
Diva
but
can confidently figure out every fish, coral, and ctenophore in the seafloor, but obviously not so good on our
Weapons,
shells.
not
Yeah.
so much.
So, pilot,
Yes.
if by some chance we happen upon a sponge with a relicanthus on it,
We
we're
need
going
to
to want to
stop.
stop.
Okay. I don't know what a relicanthus
It's
is.
the
but
non
big red
enemy,
animation.
and
you'll
not
know
an
it when
enemy.
you see it.
Well, it
Okay.
basically looks like an anemone. So just in case you happen to see one of those, that's our highest priority for trying to find a sample right now. But we also want to continue to make tracks
All right. Quick
because
zoom
we
here.
want all those things.
Roger. I'll keep an eye out.
Thank you.
Is the ship stopped, Sean?
Whoa, what is that?
What is that?
Are we still moving? We're still moving, right?
No, the ship stopped at waypoint 3, but
Oh, okay.
we are swinging.
Yeah.
What is that?
You,
I think
keep
this
an eye out,
is
tell me if you
a,
think
is
we're
it,
done swinging.
it's a
Sure. Yeah, we're
siphonophore,
still
I
moving
think.
for sure
Yeah.
right now. But
So sort of like a
I've been watching on
dandelion,
iPad,
Chris?
but-
You have any more zoom?
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, that would be my guess, but let's
It's
hear
like it
from
has a
everybody
terrible
else.
life. Is that what it's supposed to look like?
Maybe it's a different kind.
I thought the dandelions had things like on their like.
That's
little
weird.
flowy-
That was my initial guess, but I don't see enough. It doesn't look like they're separate structures, but I think it is.
Is that all the zoom we have?
Yeah, I think this is a rhodalid siphonophore, which is a little colonial cnidarian. The best comparison for the public, I guess, is a Portuguese man-of-war, where there would be individual zooids, each one, or polyps if you want, but it's a pelagic form. And you can see it has these long tentacles that they use to anchor themselves to the bottom, but this is either one that's not in good shape, and it's a new one that's growing. I'm not sure. I haven't seen one that looks quite like this.
It's losing little pieces of itself.
Yeah, this is really weird, but I don't. Yeah.
When you're done videoing, could we keep moving on?
Roger. Hey, when you're happy, video.
Whatever this is, I actually feel kind of bad for it.
So I think lots of people are concluding it's a young dandelion.
Oh, really? A young
Yeah.
one?
That's why it's not quite as so developed.
What time did the ship stop moving, Sean?
You know what? It stopped before I sat down, and I don't
Oh, it
have
did?
I don't have a time.
They didn't write it.
It's not down, no. What they did was they did one big move,
Yeah.
waypoint 3, and so it got really far ahead.
Okay.
So it's been like a really big swing.
Yeah. I mean, it's
kind of
probably
thing.
going to be like 15 to 20 minutes before we settle out, but
Yeah. I know this is kind of a difficult question, but do you know if the swing has slowed down at all or not?
So if you've just joined
We're
us,
just
we
moving.
are
Still moving.
That's all
at
I
a
know,
depth
yeah.
of 3,700 meters. And we've got about 40 minutes left in this dive. We were hoping to reach, I mean,
I can give you. I
We
can
were
come down
hoping to
and give you
reach
one more tether if you
a
want.
seep, yeah,
an
like,
area, mud volcano area.
right, where there would be carbonate chimneys and possibly some seep organisms like mussels.
All right, you got a little more room now.
So far, we haven't found those.
The name of the site is Kununaf Hulu.
That's Hulo, I think. I'm not
Hulu,
Yeah.
yes, correct.
We're doing our best. I believe it's Chamorro is the, right?
Yes.
So
With a question mark.
So if anyone speaks Chamorro, please let us know how badly we've mispronounced the name of the seamount.
It's Kununaf Hulo, and it is a Chamorro term, and you're pronouncing it pretty well.
Oh, good. All of a sudden, it looks like we've gotten into a lot more of the sort of the manganese nodule, or at least darker sediment. There's like more; it's more patchy.
Mm-hmm.
So we're
Yeah.
seeing little pockets of sediment.
I know these are a lot of these balls are actually
Are they more? No,
they're the unidentified balls.
no, they're not. Are they?
Some of them are, yeah.
Yeah, there they
Come on in,
are.
video.
You're right. Some of them are.
Yeah, I think actually
Yep, there they are.
a lot of those things I'm calling.
But there's also-
leaves.
But these are also manganese nodules, though.
Yes.
Yeah, because look at them.
Partial.
I mean, that's very, very
Spark thing.
grape, bunchy texture.
The
Little-
nodules or
yep,
the balls?
The nodules. The balls too, but the nodules. This is so interesting. I really would love to know what these things are.
Yeah, we can come out.
Wide.
So no mud volcanoes today.
Doesn't look like it.
Unfortunately, it does not look like it. But this has been great anyway. We've seen a very contrasting habitat to what we've previously been diving on during this expedition. Instead of, manganese-crusted seamounts and fresh pillow lavas and hydrothermal vents, we've seen what is very typical of most of the seafloor on our planet.
Come on
Yeah.
in video.
Very sedimented, quite a bit of these polymetallic nodules covering the seafloor, which
Cookie
seems
star?
to be increasing. I mean, some kind of goniasterid sea star, I'm guessing.
How can you sound so unexcited by a sea star? They're so
Sea
cute.
stars are really cute.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Hey,
And it's
now.
so well framed. So the
So,
sea star is so
I'm
well
looking at
framed by
iPad.
the manganese nodules and the weird
I know it's
round
not
ball
100%
things that we
accurate.
still don't know what they are.
But it looks like Sirius has
So-
been
Look at
kind of
that.
stationary for a while. Do you think you're still
While
moving, or-
while we're stopped and we've got a really good view
I
of
think
the
it's slowed
polymetallic
down.
nodules,
Slowed
I
down?
think we're still.
it's interesting
Come on in
because
video.
Okay.
these
I'll keep a
form
close
what we
eye
think
while
are
he's sat down
over
here.
millions
Alright, thanks, 'cause I
millions
just
and
wanna
millions of years.
East after this to another waypoint.
we think
forward.
that
Oh, really?
they
We're definitely not gonna
accrue
make it,
sort of in
but
a similar way to a
at least we
pearl,
like shit.
where there's a central nodule, whether it's
We're gonna have
a
to change direction. I see.
a shark's
Yeah.
tooth or a
When he's
couple
done with
grains
this
of
shot,
sand
I'll
or
talk.
a
Copy.
shell fragment or so on, and then these metals slowly over time accrue onto this nodule, nodule center, and we think that they form at about a rate of 1 millimeter per sort of million years.
Wow.
So a lot of these are going to be really, really old,
You know what, Sean?
and they sort of can be anywhere from
Yeah,
grape
come on,
There was a
size
bit of a
to
delay. We should probably
sort
go ahead
of
and get that ship moving if we wanna make it to
cantaloupe
waypoint
size
4.
in some places. And they
So
are
Josh, we're going to be changing directions a bit.
laden with what are sort of commercially
they
important
wanna go to
metals. So
waypoint
things
4,
like
which is-
nickel, cobalt,
this is
copper,
that.
manganese, and other rare earth metals. And so it means that in the future they may be a source
Watch
of
this,
these
this is
metals
now.
for humans.
And
Yeah,
these
go
are
ahead, Nav.
Oh, hi. I just wanted to. So I wanted to get the. We're almost to waypoint 3, and I wanted to get the ship moving towards waypoint 4 now. We're not going to be able to make it all the way, but we can just keep moving until we have to come up in that direction.
perfect.
Does that sound fine?
That sounds fine. Do you think
Yep,
that
I'll
when
swing my head
when we
around,
start the
Josh.
ship move again, will we be moving slowly enough that if we need to stop and collect something, we could?
Yes, I can keep it moving slow enough so we can do
Okay.
that.
That would be perfect. Thank you so
Are
much.
we far enough to waypoint 3? We'll kind of do an angle.
We're trying to find a
Okay.
ridge. So
Oh, we are
really?
looking for ridge.
if
okay.
you're looking at a ridge, or if I see hard returns on the sonar right now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we were looking for, and then we want to
Yeah.
try, if it's actually a ridge, we want to try to run along it.
Watch lead. Yeah, not too many hard returns on the sonar.
Ooh, were
right
those
now.
skid marks
Okay.
from us?
It's pretty flat everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, Washi, would you like to keep going north to look for the ridge, or would you like to start going east?
I think it's kind of a hard call. We were trying to see if we could find a ridge that we appear to have not really ever found.
Yeah.
Let me check with the scientists and see what they want to do.
Copy
okay.
that. Yep.
So,
Yeah, we copied
Okay.
that. Thanks,
shore-based
Sean.
science team.
Good thing we checked.
We've moved northward, and we were trying to sort of get to what the top of what we thought might be a ridge, and we haven't really found it. And so the question is, do we want to move east, which is what we had discussed
Actually, yeah.
during the assumption that we would find a ridge and then move along it? Or would you like to do something else for the approximately, I believe, 40 minutes that are remaining for our dive?
If you
I
turn
guess,
that
thank
way,
you.
Josh,
This
you have
is
got a
Patty,
full turn
and
in your.
I would suggest that we try moving up slow. Looks like we are pretty much on the top of the local ridge, although the ridge is obviously very smooth. But if we just go up
sort of out
close,
at the
I
end,
think that probably
No, it's
would
a
be the
half
best
turn,
thing.
yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, just rotate.
Okay,
Oh,
thank
I
you,
see.
Patty.
Gotcha.
So, go ahead, Bridge.
Okay. Cool. Take the rest.
Copy that. Are you able to rotate about the A-frame?
Hey, Chris,
Yeah,
how's it
that's
going?
Perfect. Thanks for letting me know.
Hey.
Copy.
So yeah, I just wanted to chime in, and since you guys are
The ship's
in transit, give you a few details, or at least a general account of that Goni asteroid that you saw.
Yep.
the ship's in a small
That one
turn
looks
around the
like
A-frame, just so you guys know.
Flint aster. It's a cookie star, similar to the other ones that you were seeing. And yes, it's a Goni asteroid.
Yes, watch that. How can I help?
I would just like to say that Goni
Gotta get
asteroids
that
are
lumbar
actually
support.
the most diverse of sea stars known. And so the fact that you see so many of them is actually quite important. But we don't know a lot about them. That's what, I mean, we
It's
have a
pretty
specimen in a
flat. We
jar
haven't been going
someplace, and that's
necessarily
often
downslope.
all
It's
we
just
know.
a very, very
We
shallow
know nothing about
slope
their
up.
ecology or nothing about where they live. And so, for example, yesterday I think we saw
Yeah.
maybe two or three of them.
Even to
during that,
waypoint 4, we're looking at a
basket star field.
15-meter rise
And,
over the course of, what,
Honestly,
like
it's
400
aside
meters?
from
There's not
grabbing an
much
image of it,
slope
I
anywhere
couldn't
at the
tell you a
moment.
lot about any of them because we don't know what they do. They are sometimes predators, sometimes they're deposit feeders or scavengers.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's a
So
lot
it's
of them.
more
They have the
so-
most genera of almost
I can
any
zoom out on high pack, but
family of
there's
sea
not
stars.
much of
So,
slope anywhere.
they all look alike up to a point.
Besides east,
And
but
that's why,
even then we're seeing
we
wouldn't really be able to
I spent
visually
5 years on them
comprehend
because
the slope.
I was trying to tell them apart,
It's that
and it's
small.
still quite a difficult group. Not because they're all, very distinctive, but because they all look alike. So, but also
no,
wanted
that's
to
all right.
mention,
I'm gonna
if you
put
see
it
any
in,
more of those
just so we can get the
star-shaped
ship going.
burrows,
Is that all right?
it'd be cool
Alright,
to
got
get
it.
an image,
Perfect. So
a
we're
closer
just going
image
to
of
do
it,
east
because
or...
Yeah, pilots, would you
I
be
noticed
comfortable if I
on
just
one of the last
Yeah, serious.
60-meter
times
move
we
at
passed
0.1
over one,
knots?
some of those could be quite large.
0.2?
And,
Yeah.
You can do that?
I think I
'Cause they
might
wanna
be able to
be
narrow
able to
down what
Stop
data
that
to
sample.
see
We
one
can always
again.
back the ship up.
Yeah.
So
It's
it would be interesting
a pretty
if
slow
that was
delay.
the case.
I think
to
0.2
sort of
is
see
okay.
what
0.2?
it might
Yeah.
be,
All right,
because
I'll
the
put it
shape is sort of suggestive
Being
of
so
certain
efficient, he might not even need that.
species and so forth that
Just
that
keep the
occur in
ship
this
moving.
area. So
Thanks for the confidence, Josh.
anyway, a very interesting day for starfish. The burrows were
Unless they
were
needed another
really
holothurian.
kind of
All right, so I'm
something
going to do
yeah.
I
60
hadn't seen
meters at
before,
8.5 at 0.2
especially at
knots.
the steps. So anyway, hope your remaining
Bridge,
evening
this
is
nav.
smooth and rich in discoveries.
Hi, can I get a ship move
Great.
of
Thank you very
60
much, Chris.
meters
As always, we
80
appreciate when you
degrees
call
at
in
0.2 knots?
and tell us a little bit more about your work and about the starfish the sea stars we're seeing.
Good copy. Thank you.
Cloud.
And we will most certainly hope to try to please some more in the future. If we do see any more of those large
that cloud.
asteroid casts, we will definitely stop on it and try to get a good look so you can see if you can identify it just from the sort of footprints, which would be incredible. And yeah, thanks again.
Okay. So we're moving due east, Sean?
We're moving to 80 degrees.
80.
Thanks,
080.
Bridge.
Copy. Oh boy.
So shore-based scientists, we are putting in a ship move right now, so we're going to start moving to the east, and that is the upslope direction. But Patty and others, I want to warn you, the slope is really, really low here. Like, we're not really going to attain much elevation. So just want to manage your expectations on that front.
Well, we kind of kicked up a lot of dust in our transition here, and
How dare you?
we're going to be stuck here for a little bit while we wait for the ship to start moving. But,
Okay. So we're going to get great imagery of dust
Yeah.
while waiting for the ship to start moving.
Exactly.
That dust is what allows life to happen
right. We
down
could
in the
look
deep
up.
sea.
That dust is geology.
So we shouldn't, hate on the dust in this dive.
This is why we need more sedimentologists to be on our shore-based scientist team. So
There's some.
if you know anybody who's a sedimentologist of the deep sea, I could really use some help.
And Washley's, just so you're aware, we need to be off bottom by 2:28 UTC. So at about 2:25 at the latest, pilots need to start getting ready to come up. Just a heads up.
Okay, thanks, Sean. We knew we were going to be coming off around 2:30, but yeah, thanks for that update.
There's a little stock here video if you want to take a look.
Coming in.
I'm going to try to come down
So,
without kicking up too much
scientists
dust.
ashore, we've just gotten an update.
Marshall.
We're going to be leaving the bottom in about 20 minutes.
Hold on, you want to come wide again? Sorry, there's a little more current than I thought.
Lloyd.
Yeah, you're tugging on my...
Oh, is that what it is? It's tether?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm up pretty high because the
Yeah.
tether is now blown towards you.
I gotta
so
wait.
It's right in my face.
Yeah, gotcha.
Come down a little bit.
Yeah, I'll wait. A little bit here. Yeah, not much tether.
So I think you're setting up for this, but if we could get a zoom on this coral, that'd be great.
Cool. Yep, will do. Or just I'm kind of far away and I don't have enough tether to get up there. It'll be probably at least 10 minutes before the ship starts moving, but you can go ahead and zoom in video. Hold there.
So this to me looks like a stalk of something which no longer is at the top of it. And there's also something at the base. So if we
Wait,
could
so is it dead though?
tilt down to look at the base, that'd be great.
Very good.
Is it dead?
Yes, so it's dead. There's nothing at the top of it.
I got a little more zoom.
Go ahead.
So that looks like it might be one of those amphipods, which doesn't have
Do I have
its...
more tether now?
There's no mate.
Probably not.
If
Yeah,
that is
that's
what
sad.
it is. Yeah,
I thought
that's really sad.
I also thought it looked like an amphipod,
Very good,
but
Deb.
I was a little afraid that if I said it, you would be like,
No, you should
no,
have.
that's
You
not
should
an
have.
amphipod.
You should have. Don't ever feel afraid to guess.
To get your biology wrong.
Okay.
I do it all the time.
I feel like now is one of those great times to say, you do know
Oh.
that Diva has a guide that she flips through to
do.
look at all of those
I hate
things.
you.
Although I will also follow that up by saying normally she's just staring at the screen, screaming out names without ever looking at her guide.
Too late, Deb.
You're
Don't try
pretty
and
fantastic.
recover from that.
It's pretty fantastic.
friendship over.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You know what I was impressed by today, Diva?
What?
When you identified those fish without looking at anything.
What fish?
There was
yeah.
Yeah, you had some good calls on fish today because Bruce was not available to help.
Apart from corals, I feel pretty comfortable in the abyssal environment because that's where I've been working for the last 3 years.
Excellent.
So our audio is supposed to be quite bad right now.
You're missing out, guys. We're having a great time here. Okay, I was going to ask, though. So for those of you that are on the telecom line, if the audio is bad, it sounds like the audio from the computer stream is still okay.
You can lose the skids video if you want.
So we're still here looking at manganese nodules, probably those little round weird balls, and some pockets of sediment. This is what the seafloor has looked like pretty much for the last several tens of minutes.
These balls are so interesting.
They really are. I would love to collect some.
Can we zoom in?
I'd even call it a geology sample, and we're not even sure it is. Is it possible to zoom in any further?
Yeah, zoom in video.
Guys, it's Scott. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay.
We can hear you just great, Scott. Thank you. Scott? Hello.
Yeah, I guess you can hear me. I just heard it come across the video. Sorry for the delay. I wonder if these balls might be some excavation, something that's burrowing in the mud here, or seeing its way through like deposit feeder. But as I look at them, I don't think so. Too much structure. They're too regular.
So, Scott, our three theories that we have going right now for these ball features is that they are, so something like, on sandy beaches, you get these crabs that make these sort of ball-like feeding structures when they're finished eating. So I guess that's kind of what you're going for. Then we also had postulated that perhaps they were some type of foram, whether gromids or xenophyophores, and the gromids were pretty much shot down by a foram expert. So he did say that perhaps they could be xenophyophores, but he'd never seen any xenophyophores like that. So he was quite skeptical of that as well. And then also, they looked so structured that we were thinking perhaps they were sponges or related to sponges,
and several of our sponge
Yeah.
experts thought they looked like sponges. Not these, the first ones we saw.
So those are kind of our three theories that we're working with right now, and that's kind of where we've stopped. We no one is willing to see conclusively what they are, and I guess that's because we can't until we get one in our hands, which I don't think we will, unfortunately, on this expedition.
Well, so, pilot, are we here for a few more minutes or not?
How do you? Have we started moving, Josh?
We just started.
Yeah, I guess Sirius is just starting to feel the move.
Okay.
So we've got some time, but
So here's my question to you guys, and you may have already done this, I can't remember. Did we actually try to pick one up and squish this, like to see if it's soft?
The thing is, I think they are. I think they look almost like flocky,
go ahead and zoom
like
out.
just accreted sediment.
But I agree with you, but have we actually tried to squash one to see? And could we? Oh my God, you're going to kill yourself here. Don't sit on the back of a chair, Diva. It's not safe.
So this might be a silly question. Are those marks in the top of the screen from us? Are they our skid marks from the RV?
Probably, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
they're
checking.
just over there.
We can take a look at them.
Yeah, that looks like ROV tracks to me.
Oh yeah, that's us.
It's a very, very large
regular feature.
Unless somebody else has been right here with an RV. Yeah.
What was the word?
Infauna.
No, the life tracks.
Oh, Lebenspuren.
Very, very big Lebenspuren. Spuren.
Do you want to zoom in on the track?
No, we
don't.
No, we really don't. Thank you.
We may have
We
crushed
believe
a
you.
couple of those little balls.
Oh yeah, actually,
Good zoom
zoom in
video.
on the track.
This is getting weird, guys.
While we're waiting for the ship move anyway.
They all look pretty round still.
Well, they might have rolled in.
And the reason I ask, this is not necessarily, I mean, it may be a silly question, but what we're trying to do is see if they're soft. And so is there a way to maybe poke one or try to, hit it with the arm, or are we too late for that?
Yeah, well, I think what I might do is jump out ahead, set down, and we can try to find some and poke them.
Thank you.
Craft.
That'd be awesome.
Zoom out video. Yep, thank you.
Full wide.
Thank you.
Yeah, just gently.
Hey, you're hitting me.
Tap, tap,
Sorry.
tap.
Yep. Just keep
The-
the,
I got
Guys,
wrist,
Chip, can you
or
hear me?
keep the
I have
fingers
to ask
closed
because
and
Yeah,
the telecom
exactly.
audio is so bad, I
I
don't want to
wouldn't-
talk over anybody.
Yes, we can hear you.
maybe just tap it from the side and
Yeah,
see if
maybe
it crumbles.
just a little bit
So
from the
another
side or
possibility
even
for
on top.
those mud balls
Top might be
is
better.
Camochiacea,
Mm.
which is also a type of, it's related to the forearm. It's an amoeba-like animal that basically binds up mud the same way you described for xenophyophores. But Tina Molosova was noting before that
Zoom in video?
they're typically much smaller than that.
He's
But
out
they
here.
otherwise have that sort of appearance, and they're extremely fragile.
What the heck is
Throw
that?
that as
It's
another
It's one
possibility.
of the squat.
Oh, not again.
These guys.
It's the squat lobster with the anemone on its
Oh,
back.
that's cool.
Not squat lobster.
Oh,
this
sorry.
is a pagurid.
Oh, I was out of the room.
Which is a type of hermit crab.
Thanks, Bridge.
I will just note, pilots, that we have very, very good video of this from earlier today.
Okay.
And
Zoom
they are
out.
creepy.
and they are creepy.
Maybe these guys are making the balls.
They'd be really busy if they were making the balls and had to carry an enemies on their back the whole time. Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. Don't want to crush him.
Man,
Really?
You're pretty much.
Did we just crush it?
No, we did not.
No.
No,
I said I do not want to
Right.
crush him.
No.
You're all the
We
way
don't
up there now.
intentionally damage anything.
Nope. All right.
So your hydraulics are already up.
Cool. Thanks. All right.
We gotta zoom in to see if there's any
Yep,
here.
there is
Oh,
some.
yes.
I can see him.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a
Oh, yeah,
big
to the
patch
left.
there.
So, pocket.
Yeah.
Guys, I was just going to say about that crab anemone relationship. I believe that the crab isn't unusual. It's the anemone that's unusual.
So we're moving at
and
point
when
two,
we're
so you
this
don't have a
far
ton of
deep
time.
in the
Okay.
deep sea, as you've
Just get
all
locked
noticed
in
from
here.
watching this, there are very few snails. And so there are very few shells available for hermit crabs. And so this relationship has evolved where this anemone is very specialized, and it forms a structure called a
Oh, let's zoom in
carcinetium.
video.
And essentially, if there is a very small shell on the back of that crab when it's young, the anemone can land on it, and as the anemone grows, it's secreting a chitinous layer, essentially the
Yeah,
same
sure.
sort of material that the crab itself is made of. And it grows it kind of like a lip, the same way a snail shell would grow. So the crab never has to
All
throw
right, let's
away
zoom out.
a shell and find
Video
food on
and
it.
then just
Instead,
follow me in.
it has one
Feel free to
growing on
keep
its
it
back.
fluid
So it's a
as I move the
really
arm in.
Copy that.
cool
Do you want me to zoom
evolutionary
on,
relationship.
Zeus too?
Great, thank you, Scott. Your
keep
stories
it
are
live
just the
for now.
best. I mean, you're invited back. Feel free to call in at any point.
Okay. So
I will
hydraulics
also
coming
note,
on.
shore-based scientists, that you're all invited back. Any of you is willing to, if you're willing to call in, we are happy to have you.
You're live.
Yep.
All right,
Okay, go ahead
coming
and
in on
zoom in.
you.
Yep.
I guess just one more thing to throw into that anemone hermit crab. The anemone benefits because it travels around with this crab that uses its claws to rip up food, and so it's sort of tossing little bits of food up into the water column that the anemone then can grab and eat.
I bet you they just blew out
Thank
of
you,
the way.
Scott.
Ooh,
That was pretty firm.
that was pretty firm. Yeah.
They're
Seemed
like
pretty
they're
firm,
like
yeah.
spongy. Like it did not squash.
Okay, brute force. This is how ROVs do delicate.
Considering that arm weighs
They
about
look like they're
250
really
pounds,
like
it's really
solid.
delicate.
They're solid. They're staying in place together. There we go. Now we're starting to squash them a little bit. But they were far more cohesive than I would have thought.
Can we estimate the size from the size of the manip?
I mean, maybe just like a couple centimeters. Yeah. They're not very big.
I agree. I think we can reject the idea that this is something that's been excavated.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
Can you do any more zoom, Brian?
These guys managed to
I got
stay
you tilt.
Okay.
pretty
yeah, that's
coherent.
pretty impressive.
Yeah. Thank you so much, pilots. I know this was sort of a weird request.
Okay, so we can say that they are squashing, but I mean, how
They're
much force
squashing,
is
but-
that?
They're squashing, but they're not,
I'm not-
like falling apart.
Yeah, I'm not putting too much force on them, but
This is so interesting.
They're definitely made up of aggregated sediment, that's for sure. Aggregated, is that the right word? Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't just look like sediment.
No, I know. But
Thank you so much. That was
Okay.
awesome.
All right. Can zoom out video.
Forward.
Thank you.
How sticky is the sediment? Could these be sort of like a?
yeah, it's not
Like-
not very sticky here.
It's not
Oh,
sticky.
okay.
I mean, you've noticed, you sort of drop down and it just sort of turns into a giant cloud.
Yeah.
It's not sticky.
Well, that has not helped solve I mean, no, it's possibly refuted one of our hypotheses.
Right. It just hasn't narrowed it down to one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so thanks very much, pilot. That was helpful.
Yep. So has the ship? Are we ready to start moving again? Like
The ship
the ship
is
is moving.
moving.
Yeah.
You just-
Are you guys ready to move?
We are ready to move. Yeah.
Awesome. So may we move, please,
We sure can.
for our short remaining time?
Actually, I'm tilted a little bit. I gotta fix that.
So anyone want to cross their fingers that in the last 15 minutes or so of this dive, we're going to run across an active seep?
Seeps.
We're still hopeful. We're still
Or
hoping.
a Relicanthus, an enemy.
Or Relicanthus,
Relicanthus.
and a
Animal.
sponge.
So
I'm sorry, Patty?
I want to find a rooted sponge.
I know you do, Chris.
Okay, there we go.
And we're going to do our best. They are just for the shore-based scientists. Just so you know, we started moving the ship, so that we can continue to make way. But it's much slower than when we were traversing up to the north. So they will be able to stop and take a sample if we can find something.
Yeah, pilot, so
fishing out.
the ship stopped.
No
Just keep it
problem if
moving.
we don't. I'm just
I
joking.
don't think.
Yeah, but
there's
if we
time
do happen
left.
to see one and there's enough time, that would be
Just get any
great.
more swing.
You can.
Just keep it going though.
We're,
So to,
we're going to go this direction anyway when we pull off the
And,
bottom.
Yeah.
So
All right. I'll put another same move in. 60 meters.
Yeah, just
80
keep it
degrees.
keep it going. Yeah.
Hey, Bridge. This is Nav. Hi,
So
can I get a
scientists
ship
on the
of,
line, we're gonna have our
60 meters
post-dive,
at 80 degrees at 0.2
meeting.
knots?
at 2:45, so that is in
Two white
25
reflectors out of the
minutes
distance.
from now.
Might be rooted sponges.
We're going to be
Good
coming
copy.
off the
Where do you see
bottom
it? Oh,
in
right
between
ahead.
5
Yep.
and 10
Yep.
minutes.
Sponge.
Cool.
Yes. So between 5 and 10 minutes, we're going to be coming off the bottom, and we'll have our call in
Pilots,
25 minutes
yes.
from now.
We
so
want to look at one of
quarter
these
two.
two sponges, either
Yep.
the one in front of us or the one that's to the right.
And this is possible collection.
Yes, it is a possible collection. The one that we're hoping to find a Relicanthus on one of these sponges.
This one
Right.
totally doesn't.
It does not have it. Does the one to the right have it?
Can
I
we
think it looked
Take a
naked.
look.
Pan, right? Yes.
We will pan right.
I saw that smirk, Josh.
Okay, so that one's naked, and or
Yeah.
at least appears
So,
to be
Chris, if you had to choose between these two sponges, which would you
The
prefer?
one on the left has some amphipods or something on it, I think.
It does, one of those
So
pairs.
Sean, change that move to like 15 meters.
naked. So do you want to collect the one with the amphipods?
So instead of 60,
Is that the right type of sponge? It
reduce
looks like
So,
it to me.
Chris,
like 10.
We can do a
If,
quick
if
zoom.
these sponges are the same,
same
we'd prefer
direction.
to get the ones with the amphipods. Are they the
The
same?
move you just called in was 60 meters.
Yes.
Yeah,
The only
I think
one
they
that
are
can-
the same, and we were sort of wondering if it'd be possible to collect it with the
Hey, Bridge,
roots.
this Nav?
I know it's kind of long, but if you
Can you?
there's
the
any way
move I
to
just
do
called in,
that,
can you actually
and
stop
then
at
maybe
15
kind of
meters
fold it
into
Do we
the
need to get
move?
the sponge with the roots?
What's that, Scott?
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, I'm still partial.
Where did
Yeah,
that come
let's
from?
come out.
Okay, so pilots, please be advised that they may want us to try and get the root structure, which would mean sort of excavating it out of the sand rather
Yeah.
than just pulling.
Right.
We can
Sorry,
try.
Chris, I didn't know you were talking. We were both saying the same thing, that we would like to collect this with the
Yeah,
roots.
pilots,
That's
I
the
don't
whole idea of this collection.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see head
that's
shaking.
correct. And maybe if they could zoom in on the base of this just to make sure it looks like it's going into the sediment, that would be a good double check before they grab this one.
Okay, we can do that.
So watch lead, am I to understand that there's enough root under the sediment that I'd be able to grab a chunk of the sediment and bring the whole sponge up with me?
Quite possibly. So we saw one of these that was dead. It was on its side, and when we looked at it on its side, it actually looked like it had a little root structure, like you'd expect in a plant.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
right, and that's of interest to
We
them
only
because
have
I think they haven't seen
5
that
minutes.
before.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's really what they're hopeful about this particular sponge. It might be the most important part of the specimen.
Okay. And by roots you mean spicules.
I think the
Right.
pilot suggested
Darn.
They
Okay.
actually look more like
Bob
roots,
being
so
fitted
no.
into the sediment
Okay.
And then hold up. That sounds like a
Yeah,
reasonable
pilots,
strategy.
according to my log, we don't have any bio.
Yeah, sounds good to
today,
us too.
So both boxes should be open.
Okay, well, let's try this.
Hydraulics are up.
Okay. Can we zoom in video? I just want to see where exactly.
some more.
Yeah.
Might have to like dig it out.
Yep, that's one of the ones we want for sure. It's buried right in the sediment.
Think I'm close enough? Should I move up a bit?
No, you're good.
Good.
Yep.
Okay.
So, Chris, could you repeat what type of sponge you think this is for me, please?
So, pilot, this was
just so I can make a note of it.
Earlier. It's
Well,
basically a
I'm pretty
ball
sure
that
it's in the genus Caulophacus,
the spongy part on top.
but it's going to be something very, very different with that root structure. And while they're doing the collection here, I'll see if I can find some reference material and see if any of the Caulophacus have ever been described with this type of root structure.
Grab the whole.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chris.
I think I might try to grab
and
the
yeah,
root
Scott,
structure.
you're very right. We found this in the
depending on
nick
how
of
soft the
time.
sediment
This will
is,
be the
so-
last thing we do on this dive.
Okay. Hydraulics are up.
Yep.
Can I get the Predator binder, please? Finish off just as elbow support.
So, pilots, one other thing that might want to consider.
So we're here
is,
in
I
the
don't know if
last
you're
few
gonna get
minutes
the
of
whole
our
thing in
dive
the file
to
box.
the,
You might want to take it in 2 parts.
mud volcano that we've been investigating all day. And while we did not, unfortunately, find any active
It's got kind of a point, but
seeps or carbonate chimneys, which are exceptionally
don't
weird
have
and
a lot of
wonderful,
time.
and I would
Yep.
highly recommend you go take a look at some of the pictures out there. We still had a really fantastic dive. We've seen all sorts of interesting things here at the summit of this mud volcano. We've seen a bunch of sponges. We've seen some really interesting things like those sea star casts. And we've gotten a chance to understand more about the workings of how mud volcanoes form and what they're bringing up. So it's been very, very cool.
Another thing to add to that, Deb, regarding the sponge, what's so interesting is how life is able to evolve and adapt to its surroundings. So as Chris said, it's very unusual to see these roots, and yet there's very little in the way of rock that we've seen. And so for this sponge to survive, that's one strategy. So it's fascinating to see these sorts of examples.
Absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that.
hold there
At your cameras.
Okay, so again,
and zoom out a hair.
the goal of the sponge collection is to get
Right
the
there.
root
Thanks.
structure.
Okay.
With everything else, obviously.
Well, we'll see how soft sediment is.
Ooh, I wonder if they get a handful of those weird little balls while they're grabbing this one.
Oh.
Love to bring those on board. Excellent, excellent. We're totally backseat driving now. We're standing up behind them.
Oh, the amphipod flew away.
Probably better for the amphipod.
I know.
All right, go.
I hope we don't
Full
get
wide.
one. I'll be really sad if
You
we
want to go
do.
port?
Yes, please.
So,
All right. I'm
Chris
clear,
and
ready to
Scott and
open the
Shirley
drum
and
when
those
you
of you who are interested in the base of this sponge, I'm not entirely sure,
Right,
but I
it's
think
coming
they
out.
probably
Let's pull
got
it
it.
up. There's one amphipod on there.
Sure looks like it.
Oh no, we're just gonna get one of the pair. The other one ran away.
Maybe the other
Probably
one
want to go outboard to
really
try
wanted
fit
to
this
leave.
whole guy in.
Yeah.
And this was its excuse.
Yeah.
Can we get the
Sorry,
I've been
honey, I
having a
missed the boat.
partnership a long
Calculator.
time.
camera up on the left screen, please?
So you're getting praise already, Dan, from all the scientists in the chat room.
Well,
There you go.
Don't know how he knew it was you, but
it's not in
He
the box
does.
yet, but it's always the key.
Yeah.
If I twist, yeah, I can at least drape it over the divider. Hopefully.
So while they're putting this in the box, it was very fortunate that we saw that dead stock laying there, which really cued us into the attachment at the bottom of the sponge. Otherwise, even if we collected it, we might have just snipped off the stem
float away.
And would have missed a really, really important taxonomic feature.
Josh, should I come up? Man, that's tough.
Yeah, Chris, I think that was a really good call, because most of the time we haven't been collecting the whole base. We've been taking off a piece. So that's a very good point.
Might just okay.
Sorry, I think I crushed the base there. The top was going to fly away. What do you think, Josh?
I don't know, man.
Brian had the best idea there. I should have cut it in half.
Well, you can see if it'll lay down. It might lay down. You got a current going across you right now.
Yeah.
Which isn't helping. I'm stowing your lights, FYI.
Could it go in the rock box?
While we're trying to sample this, there's some really exciting, interesting discussion happening in the chat log about what Chris was saying, in that we're very lucky that we saw this dead sponge lying on the seafloor with this big root structure, because otherwise we wouldn't have realized that these sponges do actually have this. We would have just sort of expected they were like all the other sponges. Mm-hmm. And where is it? And Shirley Pomponi, who's a sponge expert as well, has just said that a lot of the samples that have been collected in the past may also have had root structures, but during collection, if we were chopping at the base, which is usually what we would have done, we wouldn't have known, and we wouldn't have collected the root structures. So also back then, historically, a lot of samples were brought up from the deep sea by trawling, in which case the sample wouldn't really arrive at the deep sea, at the sea surface in very good condition. So, this is just kind of touting some of the benefits of working with ROVs, where you can make snap decisions depending on what you're seeing, and you have the dexterity to be able to sample a lot of these really delicate specimens.
The current's killing you right now.
Well, and it's also, the benefit it has over things. Oh, sorry, Chris, go ahead.
I think I can get it in.
Yeah, just so the pilot, that stem is quite bendable. I don't think it'll break, so he can just curl that right around in the box if he gets the head in.
Pilots, did you catch that?
Yeah.
Okay. We're trying to leave you alone, by the way.
I appreciate it.
There you go. You're in.
So what I was going to say, Diva, as well, is that, ROVs are great for a lot of things, as you were talking about, but also it's great because we precisely know where we are as we're collecting things. When we're talking about things like dredges, they cover a large part of the seafloor, and you can't really be sure where your sample comes from.
Poke it down.
You can kind of know where it is along the line, but you can't with any real great accuracy know where the specimens were collected, whether geology or biology.
I'm going to have a fun time rooting through all that sediment in the firebox. And I think our amphipod may have also run away. Rightly so.
Yeah. But you got to adjust your wrist.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the amphipods is sitting on a little pebble right in front of the base of the skid of the front part of the ROV, little white thing.
I feel like at this point, Shirley, A, we're running out of time, and B, its mate swam off, so I think we should just kind of let this one go. So perhaps I can try and... Oh, sorry, that's what I meant, Patty. I'm getting tired. So we can let this one go, so we can potentially try and find it again.
Just whatever you want to do.
They could cut the stem right there, too, so it's in two pieces. If the roots and the head are already in the box, it's no problem.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
Gotta come aft a little bit. Yep, there you go. Your wrist is on the edge.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yep.
There you go. Done. Let me know when you're clear.
I am clear. Let's close it up. Man. Well, I think next time the better idea is just to cut it in half, put it...
Well. All right, so...
Thank you very much. That's great. A great specimen.
Good job, pilot. That current was not good.
So, yeah, the one thing I didn't think about was the current there.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, if there's a current, you want to put it to your back.
Right.
So that you end up with a nice pocket around you of no movement.
Right. All right. Can you swing mini Zeus around, actually? And just make sure we're stowed properly.
As long as the shoulder's all the way back.
Okay.
All right, pilots, it's time to come up.
Okay.
So if you come up, turn to your left, and then turn to your port, bringing your hydraulics down.
Okay. So right now, you are aligned with the ship, and you have no turns.
Yep, you just come up,
So I'm
turn
going
to
to turn to port,
and then stretch out.
Okay. Okay, see in my tail cam. So I'm going to start maybe coming up.
Keep pushing out.
Okay.
They should come up. All right.
Okay, in position.
Ready?
Yep, let's start coming up.
So we're coming off the bottom after our mud volcano dive. Shore-based science team, we will be having a call in approximately 10 minutes. So please dial back in 10 minutes, and we will talk to you then. And I just wanted to thank our shore-based science team. I wanted to thank our ROV pilots for doing just a fantastic job. They're with the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration, and they're a strong partner with NOAA's Office of Ocean Exploration and Research. Obviously, we always want to thank the ship's crew because they make everything out here happen, and they're with, I believe, the Office of Marine and Aviation Operations. Is that correct? I could be getting that one wrong. OMAO. I'll have to go look it up.
That's right. Well said.
Thank you. And last but not least, I'd like to thank everybody who joined us on this and previous dives. And we hope that you continue to watch our expedition. I believe we have 6 more dives after this. So come join us again. I think it's 6.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so come join us again. We're going to be checking out seamounts for the next 3 days. It's going to be cool. All right.
Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow, bright and early.
Or in 10 minutes.
Or, yeah.